We are, we are live. Tom Ginn, G Force. G is for gratitude. Gratitude powers your why. And, when we have a principle of gratitude incorporated in our life, more than just on a surface level, number one, it eliminates negativity. It gives us a better perspective. It gives us hope. It helps us cope with things of life that affect us, and whether it be a loss or a challenge, whatever's going on in your life. When we go to a space of gratitude, it reframes everything. It allows us to respond versus react. And I started this program out studying out of the book of Gratitude Works. And I encourage you to get that book and do the workshop that comes with the book, the pages, because it gives you a different perspective. But gratitude goes deeper than I'm just grateful for today. But why are you grateful for today? See, this moment, I have a whole lot of gratitude. This is the best moment of my life, this very moment. And how we approach this next moment determines the next moment and the next moment in your future. So gratitude is what I call the mortar between the bricks of life. And that's my program today. And I'm so grateful to bring in our guest today. I met this fantastic woman. I think we were just talking, was it 4 years or 5 years? But it was about 4 years ago in 2017. I was new in my coaching business. So I met her through LinkedIn. We communicated, started chatting, and we felt that we were a right match to start that process to explore coaching and build that relationship from there. And she became one of my clients, and I'll let her share her story, her journey from that point on, and where she is today. So at this time, it's with great gratitude to bring in a wonderful person, wonderful woman, Samantha Mason Vasquez. There you are. Beautiful.
Thank you, Tom. It's an honor to be here with you.
Oh, I'm excited for you. I'm honored to have you here. And now we're colleagues, not just client relationship, but we're actually colleagues, having the same type of mission to make impact in people's lives. And today it's all about you and your journey, a little bit about, where you're from, your family, where you are today and where you see yourself going. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tom. So I have definitely been on quite a fantastic journey over the last 4+ years, making the decision to hire my first coach, to hire you as my very first mindset coach was a very impactful experience for me. And it's unlocked so many things in my life as I've continued on the journey. And one of the most powerful things that I discovered is, the possibilities are far more wide open for me than I had anticipated or ever dreamed before. One of the first questions you asked me was, what's your financial freedom number? What is it that you really want to attract into your life? We both kind of studied The Secret and some of the people that contributed to that movie and started following them and some of the ideas that they shared. And one of the biggest things that I would say I've really learned and really put into practice in my life is having an appreciation for all of my experiences and everything that's happened in my life that's made me who I am, rather than, focusing on, the painful process that they took me through, focusing on the wisdom and, the growth that was afforded to me because of those challenges, even the really, really tough challenges. those are some of the most powerful ones. And if you would allow me to just tell a specific story, I actually have started doing a meditation practice recently. Within the last year, I've started getting more and more routine with doing meditation every day and getting into gratitude in my meditation. And good morning. I have had.
Can I make a comment? Thank you for joining on, Theodora. We're associated in the Grow Live Academy, and she's in Colorado, and you're in Colorado.
Oh,
You should have
cool.
made some where you're from a little bit, but we'll get back to that. But yeah, thanks for joining in, Theodora. Robert, thanks for jumping in. Another person that follows us, and tag and share this out, because the message she shares may be the differentiation of somebody taking a step to go after what they really want in life. So I just want to acknowledge Theodore. You may want to hook up with each other. You might be neighbors and not even know it. So
I would love that. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So go ahead and continue where you're at. I'm sorry.
No, it's awesome. I didn't know that. If you hadn't said anything, I never would have known. That's wonderful. So I come from kind of a long line of family trauma and big challenges that my family history holds. And anybody that's had trauma in their background or had parents that had trauma in their background, it makes you kind of know that there's something imprinted on you, even if you didn't go through the trauma yourself. And learning how to go into gratitude meditation practice and looking for the wisdom and the deeper meaning of these experiences, and sort of gleaning that wisdom and releasing the pain back where it came from, has really been a powerful process for me. And, I actually had a vision that sort of kind of took over my meditation one day. And I felt like I was being prompted by something greater than myself to go back to a younger version of me and kind of intervene right before a traumatic event happened and take myself, forward into that event and step into my power in the midst of that event versus, continuing to be just a unwilling victim. And when I stepped into my power and I imagined recreating that experience where I gave the person, what they were, in my mind, taking from me without my permission, I gave it to them. And I said, you need this more than I do. You can have it. And I just want you to know that you're going to be better off with it. And, everything's going to work out for you. And then in doing so, I also told my younger self, by giving that to that person willingly now, it's going to come back to you 1,000-fold later. I just felt prompted to tell my younger self that. And it was so powerful that I was able to release money blocks and self-sabotaging beliefs, and just a tremendous amount of things just opened up for me. And last night I was reflecting on this, and I was thinking about how my life has changed, and I have tremendous amount of freedom now. I own my own business. I'm building it and growing my clients and growing my offers, and just, able to really stand in my true identity as a beacon of light and hope for people, that, you can recode these subconscious beliefs if you know how to do it. And it's really not years and years of talk therapy. It's not, just this arduous, painful process. It's actually very simple. You already have the power within you to recode these things and transform all of that pain into wisdom very quickly and easily. And, it's not it's not a by me process where you're doing it by sheer effort. It's getting into meditation, getting into gratitude, allowing that part of yourself to really just open up to what's greater than yourself. And you kind of just download the truth, and you download the wisdom that transforms that memory into something really valuable.
That goes back to when we first, start. I think coaching is a relationship, and you got to feel that person can relate with you, or we bond with people that have maybe have had similar challenges or whatever, and so when we met, what was it? Because we started that process of coaching, but what was it that about coaching that helped you to get to where you are today? Because I think people really need to understand that, yeah, we can read books, we can watch seminars, we can do all these things, but what was it about the coaching experience that people should know about, that relationship and how it actually can move you in the direction you want to go? So I think people need to hear that. What's your comments?
Yeah, I would say there's probably two parts to that. One is it's really easy to start to see what you need to kind of move out of your way, the resistance that you're experiencing within. When you have someone standing in front of you that can reflect things back to you, it's not really a mirror. It's like, generally you're going to end up choosing a coach that's a couple steps ahead of you. So it's like opening you up to your future self and allowing that coach to reflect that version of you that you're becoming. And help you see a little bit of both, a little bit of what's in front of you right now, what you're tripping on, but then also be able to see really truly where you're going and shine the light on that path for you. So that's kind of one aspect of that reflecting it back with a live person that can interact with you. So you're not just standing in front of the mirror giving yourself advice like, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, I like you. It's taking it way deeper than that, into a real world relationship, a guide that can help you find your way to where you're going.
Yeah, go ahead. Now, when you're done there, I just want to make a comment if I could. So go ahead.
Yeah, sure. And then also just looking at things from a different perspective, through a different lens. The coach really is able to make little shifts with you as you're telling your story and relating your experiences. I remember one really pivotal moment where Tom was coaching me and I was relating a particularly painful experience to him, and how it was affecting me. And the way he was able to, just with complete compassion and total honoring of my experience, just instantly shifted me into a different place, into a different perspective with that memory that I was relating to him. So it just really shifted the energy of that story for me in an instant. So it's really just a relationship that evolves and grows, and it helps you start to see yourself through different eyes as your coach sees you, instead of seeing you as limited or, through your self-sabotaging beliefs, seeing you through your capacity, your genius, through your, limitless ability.
Yeah. And I think, that's important to, if anybody's out there, and I encourage, only a small percentage of our population that gets coaching, and those that do really, really excel in their lives and their purpose and their direction in life. And you made something is very important, is that, and you can expand on it as well. Just want to interject, because we're coaches, we're colleagues now, so we can have that conversation a little bit as well, besides your story. When you're seeking a coach, and many times we look at coaches and we see this grandeur and this big picture they show you, and we can't see ourselves in that space. When you're seeking your first coach, find that person has been in a similar path. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And then at some point, and I always tell my clients when I interview them, I can get you to where I am. And I hope you, as I grow, maybe I can bring you along with that growth path, because I don't know everything and I'm growing and I get coaching and mentoring. But find that person. Sometimes we get intimidated by coaching. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely did not know what I was getting into when I first started.
Yeah. So find that coach that we know it when we connect, right? Interview your coaches. Find out where they are, their life experiences. What did they go through? Because it's our life journeys that I've experienced through mentoring and coaching got to me where I'm at. And I know this, I can get you to where I'm at. And I hopefully that you can get where I'm at and that you seek to go someplace else and find that next person that can take you to the next level. And I think that's a lot of people want coaching. They don't know where to turn. They get intimidated. They see a lot of things that go outside their realm of understanding, but search them out. It's about relationships. Can you resonate? And can you trust that person to get you to where you're at? And I think that's, did I hit that right on the spot, or do you want to go ahead and
Yes.
elaborate?
I totally agree. It's like you kind of have to be an energetic match. You kind of have to have some chemistry to be the right fit. And not every coach is right for everyone.
Right.
There's like an energetic signature. That person's at the right place in their timeline to really, really make transformative support happen for you to move you forward into the next step of where you're going.
And Theodora said, yes, yes, yes. Thank you. She's a wonderful, beautiful woman, and glad to know her. And Robert follows me as well. I can see. I'm dyslexic, so I don't read out loud very well. So, thanks, Robert, for your comments. So let's back up a little bit. You're in Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got. I know a little bit tell a little bit about your family. You got a blended big family.
I
right?
do. Yes.
Share that a little bit. And what did you do in the past? And where you are today and where you want to go. So
yeah.
Share a little bit about your family.
I have a family with a total of 8 kids. So my husband has 6 and I have 2 biological kids. So our birthday parties are, really big, and we don't even have to invite anyone that's not in our immediate family. So we just had a birthday party last night for my daughter, and it was really, really fun. All the teenage boys showed up from all over. They drove from hours and hours away to come to celebrate with my daughter. So it's been a really powerful experience to see just how their relationships grow, and it's been really amazing. So, but that's you bring up an interesting point, because prior to starting the coaching experience, I was kind of hitting a glass ceiling at work, and I could get so far, but then didn't really seem to progress past that. Sort of expert, but not taking it on real leadership positions. I was really good at my craft, but I wasn't being placed in positions to lead others. And I knew that I really had it in me to do so, but I wasn't being recognized. And I really feel like it was because I wasn't meant to be trading my time for money in a 9-to-5 job. That wasn't my calling. And it was like, when you're doing something that's like kind of close to what you're meant to do, but not quite there, you're going to run against roadblocks, and you're going to have walls that you bump into. It's signaling you that you need to make a shift. And it's good to pay attention to that. And then as far as my personal life goes, I was having similar challenges where I wasn't really seeming to find the partner that was really the right fit for my life. And it was kind of when I started to really turn inward and look for something deeper, that I started having some real shifts in my experiences. And it was probably just a little bit after I met my husband that I started, working with Tom as my coach. And it's been an amazing journey. And, my desire to make those shifts in my life and make those pivots in my life led me to coaching. When I was really ready to get serious about addressing these things in my life, that I had a current reality and I had a desired reality, and I needed to move from my current reality to my desired reality in, a very serious way, taking deliberate action and aligning with my true nature and purpose as a human being. That's when it really became possible for me to commit to coaching. I had to make the commitment to myself, and then I was able to make that commitment.
And that's where it starts. You have to make that emotional decision that I call it, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of the circumstances. There's more, there's more, and you have to making a decision is scary. And fear really operates at a very high level. But you mentioned something. I just want to comment, about when I first started coaching. I know I'm not going to get into the details of our conversations, but as we grow ourselves, we have relationships, we have challenges, whether it be at work, whether it be in our marriages, whether it be with our kids, whether it be with our friends. As we grow and become better, how does that influence those around you? Have you seen that as you've grown in your walks with other people, your relationships? Have you seen that happen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really in the past had a lot of anxiety and struggle with going back to see my family and spending time with my parents and my siblings, and just all that sort of internal conflict was driving my experience with what I was expecting from them and what I believed they were expecting from me. And my parents were at my house last night, which is kind of, if you go back 5 years back in my past, that's a really amazing miracle. They drove to my house and showed up with my family to sit around the dinner table with my kids, and they had a really good time. And there wasn't any, tension or awkwardness or, social anxiety that I would have in that circumstance in the past. I feel like I'm really a different person, and me being a different person invites them to be better as well.
Yeah, and I think that's I call it the light. And as we grow, we change, we understand how we're responding, reacting to people and circumstances, the past, how they've triggered us. But when we can really understand that, we become better. People sense that, and they can become better just without any preaching or coaching or anything like that. And that's, I think, one of the greatest benefits in coaching. A lot of people are seeking a coach. I want to solve this problem. I want to conquer this, and I need to fix. And that's the wrong word. You don't need to fix anything, right? Because that when we try to fix something, we're creating all sorts of paradigms. We just got to recognize there's something better down the road. We don't have to fix anything.
We're not broken.
We don't need to fix anything. Would you agree? We just need to recreate something.
Yes. So create something new.
Huh?
Create something new.
Create something new. That's not fixing. That's exciting. That's what we're here for, that creative side and that energy. And then when you're creating, that goes out to other people, and they go, oh my gosh, maybe I want to hang around with this person more. Maybe I need to know what she's doing and why she's doing it. And that's how you change other people's lives. You don't go out and try to fix things. Just go out and recreate something.
Absolutely.
In yourself your business, go out and recreate it. Well, you were what in corporate world? What did you do in the corporate world? You worked some pretty significant companies, and you had some pretty significant responsibilities. What was your background coming into coaching? Because I like
Yeah.
it. People say, well, you had it made if you stayed in that career and working for big companies like that. What did you do? What was your
Yeah.
previous?
So I worked in learning and development for, a good 7 years. I have a master's in industrial organizational psychology. And so, I definitely am using that degree at this point as a coach. I use it every day. But, I was building training for Google, United Airlines, um, Dish Network, big companies. I was being plugged into a system, and I was, using my creativity, but on a very, very limited basis. I was given instructions, and I was told, complete this work and get it done by this time and do it in this way. And, the pay was great, but the fulfillment that I was really looking for and making a difference in people's lives. And, sure, you create training at United Airlines, you probably somehow are preventing plane crashes when you're training pilots. It's great. But I really wanted to have, thank you, Robert. I really wanted to have a direct impact on the quality of life for people. And that's really why I stepped into this as a coach. And I'm seeing beautiful transformations, and I can't take the credit for it because I'm really like a container. I create space, and I give people the ability to step into their own truth in the coaching process.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, because I think it's important to hear people, why'd you do this? And that sort of starts telling you a little bit about your vision, your why, your core values, the things that are important to you. And I'd like people to hear that because, people, all walks of life, there's opportunity out there. If you have a passion to help train or develop people, there's an avenue. But it really starts usually, I think, explore the realm of coaching and see what that experience, see if it is the right path for you. Because I'm all about entrepreneurship and controlling your own destiny, creating your own thing, and you're a living example of recognizing what your disciplines were, but you were constrained by a system, right? But you saw people responding to what you, and that led to us meeting, and that's
Yeah.
where you are today. Tell us a little bit about your business, your coaching business. Who's your ideal client? Who do you want to serve? Because a lot of people get in coaching, I want to help everybody, but that's not a reality. Tom Ginn
And that's a
recognized early on
miserable
that I
place
can't
to be.
help everybody. What?
Yeah, that's a miserable place to be, to try to be all things to all people all the time.
Yeah.
Managing a large family and running a successful business, I will tell you, Theodora, it is absolutely sitting in that mindful meditation, sitting in gratitude every morning, and being faithful to that every single day. That is how I'm able to show up and be fully present everywhere I go, and put everything of myself into everything that I do. Just staying in that flow state and following that kind of spiritual guidance, keeping your compass just really like turned on, your internal compass, knowing, because I had a boss a long time ago. He was probably my favorite boss I ever had, because I would say unofficially he was probably the closest thing I had to a coach in the past. His name was Rob, and he told me one time, it's not the amount of time you spend, it's the quality that you bring when you show up. And that's been really critical as far as just being able to show up well for my kids and show up well for clients, being fully present in every moment. That taking that time of quiet and reflection and meditating and visualizing my future, and journaling. Those things have been just absolutely key.
Robert's making some comments here.
Yes, absolutely. Showing up with a sense of purpose everywhere I go. It's super important.
And Robert's from Canada, so we put a little Canadian thing on there on the accent. So thanks, Robert, for your comments. I think that what you just shared there is so important, is that we live a life of a lot of influences, sensory things, the noise, the sounds, the chatters of the world, and all that. And we don't know how to deal with it, right? And most people, I would say, don't know how to deal with it. So by being coach, how did that help you put things into perspective, in alignment? Because everything operates by law. Our thinking operates by law. The physical world operates by law. So what did coaching do to help you because when our first conversation, there was a lot of clutter going on, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of chatter. There was a lot of things. We won't go into the details. There was a lot of things. But what did the coaching experience help you do to calm it down, put it in alignment and perspective? Just like being present is so important.
I would say that I didn't even see it at the moment when it was happening. There was just so much chaos in my mind. I really was very, very much enmeshed in anxiety, depression. It was really a struggle for me every day to just get up and do basic things and function. And the coaching really made me aware that I needed to start taking serious action and making some shifts in my life. I started seeing a relationship therapist for my relationship with my father. And, despite him, coming to a couple sessions and then deciding not to continue, I continued doing the therapy. So coaching is not a replacement of certain things, but it's a way for you to step up for yourself and start taking action for yourself. And then you just get clarity and you know what to do next. You know what next step to take. And I can tell you that my relationship with my father, despite the fact that he didn't continue the therapy, is amazing now. And, I just am able to hug him and really, really feel good about being around him and interacting with him and just enjoy him in his old age, enjoy who he is and just see him for who he is now, and not be clouded by past experiences any longer.
Yeah. That's, I'm going to do something and just when I pop this up, because you talked about being in depression and anxiety and all that, I'm going to bring up our other colleague in business, and I'm going to bring this. It'll be an overlay. So, and then we'll put it up, and then we'll talk a little bit about it if you'd like. And did this person that I'm going to show you? It's called the stick person, by the way.
Okay, I know who that is.
Do you remember the stick person?
I do.
I'm going to bring them up. This is. Tell me what this person did in your life. Does that look familiar?
It does look familiar, and it was a concept at first that became a deeper understanding. The seed got planted in my subconscious, and I started to understand sort of the mechanics of how my inner workings were functioning. And it was almost like it just magically moved forward into a whole new state of being over time, because, I just learned a new way of functioning. And I'm going to apologize. I have this notice that's coming up that I am low on battery, and I just realized I forgot to plug in my computer. So
go ahead and get her powered back up. So
I don't want to lose connection with you while we're talking.
I'll just share what this really means to people. This is you. We have two sides. We have the positive, negative. The ignorance, what causes us to be out of sorts, the negative sides, worry, doubt, fear leads to anxiety, leads to depression. If we can see that as we're operating, as we work, we learn to recognize what's going on with us at an emotional level. How then we make that shift in thought, because your thoughts control everything. And that stick person is my counselor. I have him up on my dashboard on my computer. He's with me all the time. And it reminds me where I am at any emotional state. Oh, I'm in a state of worry. I'm in a state of fear. I'm in a state of anxiety. And how do you switch that thought, that emotional feeling? And when you can do that, would you agree? Now you're in control. Not you're reacting anymore, but you're responding.
Yeah. And
so that's my daily coach that I put up. I see him every minute of my day.
Yeah. And one of the really powerful things that I learned through the process of hiring a coach and getting a deeper understanding of my inner workings is that for many, many years, I stifled my emotions and I pushed them to the side and I locked them away because I needed to function. And I felt like that was my only recourse to get through life, is to sort of dampen them down and distract myself, suppress and ignore and put them off, pretend it wasn't there. And it's always running in the background, but I was trying to just push it away. And I actually found that it's much more powerful and much more effective in those moments when that worry and that fear comes up, is to sit with it, to recognize it as separate from you. It's with you, but it is not you. And to almost be a friend to that fear and that worry and just sit with it. And, I do something called the peace process, where I kind of find the worry and stress and fear where it's sitting in my body. Maybe it's showing up as tension in my sternum, or a lump in my throat, or some pressure in my temple. I place a finger where that tension or that stress or that anxiety is in my body. And I just kind of tell that feeling, you're loved unconditionally, you're accepted, and I'm grateful for you. I'm glad you showed up because you have something to tell me. There's a message that you have to give me, and I receive that message and I allow you to fully express, and just allow that. And the emotion, you'll feel it change and move around as you put your focus, your gratitude and your unconditional love and acceptance on that feeling. And eventually it'll say, okay, you heard me. Now I can go. And it just takes a few minutes, but it can change your whole day. And it can really just make that experience just resolve in a more permanent way versus, just being pushed to the side and put in the dungeon of your soul just to come back and bite you later at the worst moment possible. Like when you're in the middle of a conversation and someone triggers you and then you say something you really didn't want to say because you had this feeling trapped inside.
Yeah. I'm in awe. I'm honored that I was part of this journey. I'm learning from you as you speak, and I believe everybody has that ability to influence people and seeing your transformation. And it's a sort of what would you call it? Everybody uses it, transformation, but it goes more than that. You've manifested yourself to your fullest potential. Your energy is there, and it's obvious, because I know you. I've the times we coached and know the inner sides of the things that are confidential and intimate to us. But you're a radiant light. I just want to say that, and it brings tears to my eyes, to be honest with you, that I was part of that. I think that's the greatest reward you get when you coach people. So I just want to express that. So I wear my emotions. I used
Thank
to
you,
hold them back
Tom.
and suppress them. So I just
That
want to let you know
means
that coaching is a powerful thing, and it's about to improve people's lives. And we don't know how it's going to be done. And I know that's what you want to do. So
yeah, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
yeah,
It's nice to hear that someone else can see the change that I feel inside. It
yeah,
gives it that sense that I brought that that identity that I
yeah,
wanted to create into the current reality. I'm being it to see it,
yeah,
and that's really all we can do is just be one step better. Every day, just try to be one step better than we were, and continue to grow and evolve and change, and just be vigilant about that continuous growth.
yeah. And that's the greatest reward that a person that you've at least gave a light or a path. You did the work. I just showed you there's a different way to look at yourself, and in that I didn't create any of the things I teach. I've applied in my life. It's made a difference in my life. I've made a commitment to help and share it with other people. Whether they accept it or reject it, that's on them. But when they do, and you see a transformation or the manifestation of a new person, you recreated yourself. You
Yeah.
didn't fix anything. And that's what we want. That's what we usually want to get. Can we fix this thing, right? We recall some of the conversation. We were looking to fix something.
Yeah.
We're not here to fix anything. We're here to recreate.
Yes. And I can tell you at this point, my relationship with my husband just grows and becomes more beautiful every day. And, whereas in the past, when I was younger, it would be beautiful at the beginning, and then it would slowly just deteriorate as the connection just died with every negative experience that we both had. And whereas now, the negative experiences are insignificant compared with the beauty and the depth of connection and love that we share with each other, and how we show up every day just like with a childlike wonder at being able to spend life with each other. And it's very, very, very new in terms of, if you look at my timeline, this is completely new, and it's because I'm showing up in a different way.
Yeah. Um, that fantasy we talked about, the fantasy and how that is stimulates our creativity, our genius, our potential. Is we got to get anybody that's listening out there, go back to your fantasy, become that child again, believe that you're capable of doing anything, because in reality you can. And it starts with that fantasy, but it's been squashed by all sorts of reasons. We won't get into that today, but get back to that. And uh, Theodora, thank you for the comment. Then Robert made a comment here, so we'll go. And
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you, Robert,
Totally
for
agree.
those kind words. Seeing that, and then we'll continue.
So I am just so grateful and so just enamored with knowing what's possible, or just seeing like a fragment of what's possible, and seeing things just open up and evolve, and just staying in that wonderment, and allowing things to happen through me, not to me, not by me, but through me. um, it's like you don't have to struggle. It's not a matter of making things happen, or pushing things ahead. It's a matter of just really showing up in every moment, being the absolute best version of yourself that you can be in that moment, and just seeing the miracles happen, just seeing beauty just open up in front of you.
Yeah, love thyself. And many people think that's selfish, but when you really understand what that means, you become the light. That's when you love that yourself, and you're taking self care, and you're, I'd say, nurturing. Tilling the soil, putting the seed in, the water and the sun, and you become a beautiful sprout, and then you grow into a magnificent redwood tree, something big and magnificent that you would never have visioned. And I just see it in you, and I just see you're going to have an influence on a lot of people.
And the
Okay.
really powerful thing of investing in yourself is every single person along your entire timeline that sees you change, you're silently giving them permission to do the same with themselves. So by changing and becoming the best version of you that you can be, without coaching another person, without having another conversation, just by showing up that way, you're giving all those people along your timeline that you've touched in the past permission to do the same. And you can have a ripple effect that you never even know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's thing, as we grow and we do influence people in ways that we would never know and never know. That kind word you say, whatever it is, we never know how we're going to impact people. And from a positive light, I call it, you're going to impact the world, not just in, hey, let's work together as client and coach relationship, but as part of who you are, your being, and your purpose in life. I'm going to see Robert.
I agree. We have to celebrate. It's so important to take a moment and celebrate.
Yeah. So he's taught Robert. Robert is a very intuitive, deep thinker, and so I appreciate Robert. Sometimes his wisdom is beyond my comprehension and understanding. So that's a positive thing, Robert. So we never know, and we're getting down here to the ending here. But who do you want to serve? I mean, we started that conversation. We all want to go out and make an impact, and we do make an impact on the entire world by who we are and how we show up. But in that personal relationship, where do you, because we all have somebody that we really want to help. What does that client look like to you? Who's that person?
Yeah, the clients that I seem to really connect with the best and that we resonate with each other well are clients who are creating something new, like you said earlier, a podcast, writing books, creating a body of artwork. I have that history of being a writer and an artist, and I'm actually starting my journey as a podcaster. And so being just one or two steps ahead of my clients in something that I've cultivated in myself really helps me to step forward and help them get into the mindset as a creator and to make a big difference. I typically find that a lot of women gravitate to me, but there's a few men. My real key strength that I bring is I help people find balance. I help people balance
8 kids and a husband, a business, and life. You definitely. But I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you can create balance with that, you can help a lot of people. So that's I just want to share that out. Little humor on the subject. Go ahead.
And believe it or not, I actually have cultivated really, really fun relationships with all 5 of my teenage and young adult stepsons. And, both my kids, I have beautiful relationships with them as well. And, with all of the things that I'm creating, I'm inspiring them to what's possible for them. So, as a mother, I found that it's really important not to sacrifice all your dreams and put everything you care about to the sidelines, but to invest in yourself in ways that you want your kids and the people that you're an influence over to invest in themselves and the kind of legacy that you would hope for them to creating that for yourself shines that light for them as well.
Yeah. Well, I've seen your story. I've seen where we started 4 years ago, and how that's transpired. And we fell off a little bit in our communications, but when we got back together, it's like, okay, how can we keep moving? How can we keep growing? All those things. And, I remember when you said you wanted to get into coaching here a while back, and I'm honored that I had some sort of role in that, that was a catalyst somewhere along the line. I can't take any credit for it, but I'm honored and seeing you where you are today. And I can't wait to see where you are next week, next year, 5 years from now, and hear those stories. So any parting word to the audience out there, because we'll be wrapping up. What I'll ask you this question. My mentor that's teaching me how to do this live stream, most people, what's the number one thing that holds people back? And most people say fear. So we're not going to use fear. What would be your parting thought? What holds people back to go after what they desire in life? What would it be besides fear?
I would say just I think I can't not use the word fear because it's so important, but I'll be more specific. The fear of what you're really capable of is I think what scares people more than anything. Not what our limitations are, but our true capabilities really scare us. And it's really just taking that step forward and stepping into the unknown and doing something that you've never tried before is how to really live a fully satisfied and fulfilled life, is to have that new experience and do something that challenges you. And, the day that I decided to open my office and, have a brick and mortar space, I was terrified. I didn't know how I was going to make that work. And everyone around me was cheering me on and saying, go for it, go for it. It doesn't matter if you don't know how you're going to pay for everything, just do it. And, surround yourself with cheerleaders that believe in you and tell you to take those risks and step forward and just move into that growth zone, move out of your comfort zone and into that growth zone. Every opportunity that you find, just go for it.
Yeah. Well, I think that we couldn't have done better on that last thought and last encouragement. And I'm going to put you in the green room under contract. I did fulfill your desire to have blue M&Ms. So enjoy the M&Ms. But I do have a couple announcements I want to make. It's hang on tight, and then I'll be wrapping it up here in a minute. So it's an honor to have you. And seeing this beautiful radiant light that you're demonstrating. So knowing you and where you are today is my heart is bubbling. So I'm going to put you in the back room, okay? Before I cry.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
Namaste,
all right. Okay.
Everyone.
Yeah. A place of gratitude always starts a change. And I'm so grateful for this moment, grateful for knowing Samantha. Being a coach, we're influenced as much as hopefully we're influencing them. Many times I get more influenced and changed because of the relationships. I just encourage people to start with a heart of gratitude. No matter what you're struggling with, it will give you some clarity. Seek somebody else that has a path and that can guide you to a different place than you're at. And that's coaching and mentoring. Don't be afraid to go out and ask, and you'll find the person in this arena. And hopefully those that are out there, and if Samantha resonated with you, reach out to her. Start that conversation, because starting that conversation is a new change in your life. Don't let fear get in the way of growth. Don't let it get in the way. Reach out. And then if anybody out there that resonates with her contact information is going here below. But I just want to make another announcement on next week. Oh, I better get my calendar before I make a wrong announcement. Let's see who we got coming in. Let's see. Oh, I don't have a guest on the 22nd, but I do have a dynamic guest coming on the 29th. Kevin Fitzgerald, excuse me. I've met him through another live streaming event, a great man of faith and a great man of encouragement and love. And I look forward to interview him as well. So with that all said, gratitude. No matter what's going on in your life, be grateful for this moment, because how we look at this moment dictates what happens the next moment in our future. And if you approach it from a place of gratitude, you start responding, not reacting. It's not going to cause problems to go away, but it gives you a different framework to build your life around. It's a spiritual principle. Go deep on it. Get that book called Gratitude Works. And just understanding that principle in itself will change your life in a positive way. So I'm so grateful for everybody here today. And we are going to sign out. Monday, we're going to get back into the book, Understanding Your Why, Simon Sinek. We're going to go deeper and deeper into that book, because when you understand your why, your purpose, and how it's tied with your vision, and understanding what your core is and what fulfills you in life, that's what we're all seeking. And we're going to dive deep into that book starting Monday and Wednesday, and then on Friday again if I don't have another guest. So God bless everybody. Have a great weekend, and go Wisconsin Badgers over Army. Bye.